Hi, I'm Sean Weissman with Arturia, presenting the Arturia Origin Keyboard. It's a brand new version of the Origin, and we're going to see some of the features right now. It opens up like this, and you've got all the panel right in front of you with all your controls. And here you have a 61-note keyboard with velocity and what we call duophonic aftertouch. So a duophonic aftertouch is a really unique feature. Normally, if you have a regular aftertouch, if I press on the keyboard and play a chord and a melody, if I modulate the melody, everything's modulating. But here, if I say duophonic aftertouch, I can hold the chord and modulate only the melody. So a very unique feature without having a full polyphonic aftertouch keyboard. Also, there's a ribbon controller right there that can be assigned to different features. It can be a pitch control, and it can be set up in multiple ways. It can also be used as an instrument to trigger directly notes from the ribbon controller. Or it can control any modulation in the Origin. Of course, you have the regular pitch bend and modulation wheels, as well as an octave shift. So one of the things that the Origin can do is, one of the features is to play a mini-moog. So with the mini-moog, we can interact in real time using the knobs on the panel. It's not sampled, so it's real-time filters and envelopes that we can program right here. But there are extra features. We've added a arpeggiator function. It's like the Jupiter 8 arpeggiator, so you just turn it on. And you can adjust up and down, or up and down, and the number of octaves. And so a little bit of arpeggiator. But if you want to go further, we actually have a step sequencer built in, and it's an extremely powerful step sequencer. You can start with a simple sequence. And here, if you see the bottom row, which is all the sequencer control, you can control the triggers, so add more triggers. Change the value. You can add slide between steps. You can add accents. And that's one sequence running. The Origin can actually run 3 sequences in parallel. So let's add a second sequence, but the second sequence is going to be patched to the filter modulation. So here I can change the value of the steps, the filter on each step of the sequence. And that I could add a third sequence, and that's one pattern. Then I can switch patterns on the fly. There's also a loop function that allows to loop on a few bars. All in real time. So when you associate this sequencer with the modular synthesizer, you can actually create analog drum sounds and create analog drum patterns with the same sequencer. Now you have 3 sequences, one for the kick, one for the hi-hat, one for the snare. And that's still one sound. With the multi-function of the Origin, you can also combine up to 4 of those synthesizers you created, and each synthesizer is going to have its own sequencer. So for instance, if we start a part with one part is the drums, then we can add another part, and for instance, take a bass line on the other part. On top of that, we can add a third synthesizer. Let's say add a like CS80 pad. And you can control individual sounds. So the sound number 2 is the bass. I can filter the bass. Sound number 1 is the drum. I can change the patterns on the drums. Back to the pad to sweep the filter. The Origin, the main feature of the Origin that's unique is it's actually a full modular synthesizer. It's not only a template machine like the Minimoog that we have, but it's also a fully modular synthesizer. So you have a rack that you can see on the screen with individual modules. So you have oscillators, filters, envelopes, outputs, and of course a lot of other modules are available. But just to start with a simple patch, here there's one oscillator, one filter, one envelope, one output, and they're patched together in the patch page where you have your audio cords connecting the oscillator through the filter to the output and the green cords for the envelope control. So here, it's a very simple patch, and it's triggered with a sequence, and we can see here we have a Minimoog oscillator and an Origin filter, and with the Origin you can actually mix and match. So let's change the filter to use an ARP2600 filter. I can adjust my ARP2600 filter. If I want a sound that's a little less aggressive, I say, well, let's try a CS80 filter instead. And now I've created another synth, which is a Moog Yamaha combination Franken-synth. So that's a very simple patch, of course. If you add a lot of modules, you can create very sophisticated textures. Here, for instance, I have 4 oscillators and 4 filters and 3 envelopes. And you can use the joystick to sculpt the sound. You can assign the joystick to different features. Here it's the filters, but I have here LFOs. So a very, very expressive and real-time keyboard. Again, not sample sounds, but real-time filter envelope generations. So this was the Arturia Origin Keyboard. Of course, a very short preview of it. There's a lot more to it. I was here today at Sweetwater to present and train the Sweetwater sales staff to know this product. So if you have any questions, call your Sweetwater sales engineer and ask him about the Origin today.